Hey loves, so we are upon another new year, and for the last couple of years I always said another New Year's and another year closer to death, and I've gotten mixed reviews on that statement, but it is true. So I wanted to talk about the new year, and not in the usual way, not to try to motivate you or anything like that, but in a realistic way that's hopefully feels more compassionate with you and more realistic and more genuine to you. So my name's Abigail. We're here to normalize these conversations and education about death and dying so we die better at end of life and live a good one till we get there. Let's get into it today. So it's another new year, and we just came out of the pressure of the holidays. Whether you were actually celebrating the holidays or not, it's usually a hectic time. It's usually a time that's also has the weight of a lot of things: past, family, crap, grief really intensifies, and there's just a lot that's going on. And with all this that's happening in the holidays, grief, becomes more intensified, and everything else, the pressure for things, all sorts of things. And then we get into a new year where there's even more pressure, where now we have to lose the weight, decide that we want to get better in some way, and put all these new expectations and or restrictions on ourselves. And please don't get me wrong, I'm all for making yourself better, especially if it's about your health, emotional, mental, physical, whatever. I mean, that is all really valid and good. But I want us to maybe take a breath and just take the pressure off ourselves, because it is a lot. It's a lot, especially in the world we live in today where there is just so much going on, that we don't need to put more pressure on ourselves, especially if we came out of the holidays and we're just like, oh, happy. So I want to talk about that coming out of the holidays a bit more. So first things first, especially if the holidays were a really emotional thing for you, some of you may be really relieved that they're done. And if you are and you're moving on and you're happy with that, then great. Some people may really thrive on the connection and, the events and things of the holidays, all the, significance behind them all. If you are, what I want to say is just also start to plan and prepare ways of connecting with others. So just to kind of help you soften the landing for this time after the holidays, it can really help to have even just some Zoom scheduled, FaceTime, a walk in nature, even if it's by yourself, connecting with a friend, whatever it is, or joining a group, a free online group that can be a support group for you. And there's so many out there, thankfully, nowadays. So think about doing that. The other thing is about all this New Year resolution stuff. Let's just talk about that real briefly. So with all the pressure we're putting ourselves in the new year, putting ourselves under pressure to eat right, exercise, or do certain things every day, read a certain amount, whatever. And then we maybe get through half of January or even half of February and we're not sticking to the plan. And then we get down on ourselves and then we put the pressure on ourselves again. So the whole thing I want to just remind us is that we can literally decide to renew ourselves in a moment. We don't need a new year, a calendar to tell us when to do it. So you can literally right now decide, okay, I decide to change myself now and be a different person, to be someone who's committed to their health, whatever it is. So you can decide that in a moment. Take the pressure off trying to set this expectation that you're going to be like this through the whole year or for the rest of your life. Decide in the moment, and then know that when you mess up, that's actually a healthy thing for your nervous system to do. As you're kind of recalibrating these new habits in your life, you are going to have days where they're not going to really stick and you're not going to really pull through on them. And that's okay, and that's healthy. So with that said, you can decide at any moment to change, even if you mess up or whatever it may be. And let's just maybe take the pressure off. I know it's a new year. I know we have all these hopes and dreams, and good for us for doing that. But take the pressure off, because there's enough going on. There's enough that we've all been through. We don't need to add more. And look at more of a way, or approach it more of a way of how to better love yourself and be more compassionate with yourself, I truly believe. That's a whole other discussion too, in terms of getting into. But of course, we'll be in touch. We'll continue to normalize these conversations and education about death and dying so we die better at end of life. And of course, live a good one till we get there. I love you. And cheers to this new year. All right, see you soon. Bye.